Then Malunkyaputta said to the Blessed One, Bande, it would be well for me if the Blessed One would teach me a Dhamma in brief, hearing which teaching from the Blessed One, I might dwell alone, secluded, mindful, with energy that dissipates mental defilements, and with mind directed towards enlightenment. So now he asked the Buddha to teach him a subject of meditation. He became interested in the practice of meditation now because he was old. The words he used are remarkable. I might dwell alone, secluded, mindful, with energy that dissipates mental defilements, and with mind directed towards enlightenment. It is what all the yogis are doing now. You dwell alone, secluded, mindful, with energy that dissipates mental defilements, and your mind directed towards only enlightenment.
Recording in progress.
After hearing from the Buddha, he said that he would dwell alone, etc. Malunkyaputta was a broken down old man, aged, far gone in years, and had come to the third portion of his life. Our life is supposed to be 100 years. The third portion of life means maybe 90 years old. He was an old man when he went to the Buddha and asked for meditation guidelines this time. Then Malunkyaputta said, Bande, although I am a broken down old man, age, far gone in year, and have come to the third portion of my life, yet let the Blessed One teach me a guidelines in brief. Let the well-speaking Buddha, Sutta, teach me a gist of Dhamma in brief. I might understand the meaning of the Blessed One words, and I might be heir of the Blessed One words. Although I am old, I might understand your words. I might understand the words of the Buddha. So I might become an heir of the Blessed One words. That means I might become an Arahant. I might become a noble person. Then Buddha said, Malunkyaputta, now what do you think? Those objects cognizable by the eye, objects not seen, never seen before, which you see not now, nor do you have expectation that you will see. Do you have desire, lust or fondness for them? Atite tata chandowa ragowa pimawa tanki minyati Malunkyaputta yete jaguvinyeya rupa adita abuba nachapasasi nachate hoti pasayanti atite tata chandowa ragowa pimawa. Buddha said, and Malunkyaputta answered, no he dambandi, bandi surely not. So by this question, Buddha gave a meditation guidelines for the practice of Vipassana. Buddha let Malunkyaputta know that desire do not arise, lust do not arise, fondness do not arise with regard to objects not seen, never seen before, which are not seen now, and which you have no expectation of seeing. With regard to these types of rupa, visible objects, there can be no desire, lust or fondness. It is very true. Objects which you have not seen before, which you have not seen in the near past, or which you have not seen in the long past, and which you are not seeing now, which you have no expectation of seeing. Now you understand three things: past, present, future. Future, you have no hope to see these things. Previous life you have never seen before. Now you are not seeing with these objects. There can be no desire, no lust, or no fondness. With regard to such objects, there is no need to get rid of our mental defilements. Defilements will never arise with regard to these kinds of objects. So Buddha said, can there arise desire? Can there arise lust or fondness for them? No hitambandi, surely not. Malunkyaputta answered to Buddha. This means that desire or lust or fondness can arise only with regard to things, to the visible objects which have been seen before, which we are seeing now, or which we have expectation that we will see. With regard to things, with regard to rupa, that we have seen, we can have desire, we can have lust, we can have fondness. With regard to the rupas that we are seeing now, the same thing, we can have desire, we can have lust, we can have fondness. And also with regard to rupas, which we have expectation that we will see, we can have desire, we can have lust, or we can have fondness. So it is only with regard to rupa, seen in the past, or seen right now at the present moment, or with rupa that will be seen in the future. These only have to do with getting rid of our mental defilements. There is a story from Dhammavara commentary. There was a man in whom lust arose just through expectation that he was going to have that rupa, that object. If one can visualize an image in one's dreams or thoughts, lust, desire can arise in one's mind. The story is, there was a man named Anitiganda. He lived in Sawati. Anitiganda means no woman smell. Anitiganda was not attached to women because previous life he was Brahma. He was born as a Brahma in his previous life. So in the realms of Brahmas, there are no sensual pleasures. Brahmas spend their time with the four Brahmavihara, divine abodes. They spend their time with the four noble abidings, Metta, loving kindness, Karuna, compassion, Mudita, appreciative joy, Upeka, equanimity. So Brahma spending their time with these divine noble abiding. So at the end of his life, in these realms, he came down to the human world and was born as a man or as a child. He was adverse to women, he was negative to women because of the power of the previous life Brahma. So it happened that he cried whenever the nurses pick him up because he cannot smell the woman. So that is why his name was Anitiganda, no woman smell. When he came of age, his parents asked him to marry, but he said, Name itiya ato, I don't want a wife. And his parents insisted. So Anitiganda thought of a device, or he thought of a way of not getting a wife. He has sculpted, make a golden statue, very beautiful, beautiful woman. He showed the statue to his parents. He said to his parents, if there is a woman as beautiful as this golden statue, then I will marry her. He said this because he thought there would be no woman as beautiful as this golden statue, and that no woman would be found. But his parents were very rich, so they sent their Brahmin to different parts of India to look for a woman as beautiful as that golden statue. And if the statue is made of gold, it is very beautiful. Nowadays, it might be a doll or a mannequin. So the Brahmins took that golden statue with them and went in search of a beautiful woman. In India, one state is Sagala, one country, in the country of Sagala, the Brahmin found such a beautiful woman. She was very beautiful and she was delicate. She was kept in a 7-story house. So the Brahmin went there when they had the news in order to know the beauty of the girl. So when the girl came down and sat down beside the golden statue, the Brahmin were amazed by the fact that the beauty of the girl far excelled that of the golden statue. So the Brahmins were very pleased. So they sent message back to the parents that they had found a beautiful girl, even more beautiful than the golden statue. When Anitiganda heard this news, the lust in him was aroused. Before, he did not expect to see a beautiful woman or to have a woman as beautiful as the golden statue. Now he had heard that there was a woman more beautiful than the golden statue, so he had lust in his mind. So Anitiganda said, he sent message to the Brahmins, bring that beautiful girl quickly. And the Brahmin went back, and Brahmin gave the golden statue to her parents, and they brought the bride to Anitiganda. But unfortunately, the girl died on the way. They were about 500 or 600 miles apart. It's maybe from Sawati to Punjab, 500 or 600 miles apart. And they had to travel by cart in those days. The roads were not very good in these days. And the girl was delicate, so she got sick along the way and died. And when the Brahmin said that, the girl had died, Anitiganda was so depressed that he could not sleep and he could not eat. And Buddha saw this and had compassion for Anitiganda. So Buddha went to his house and asked what had happened to him. And Anitiganda told Buddha of his depression, and Buddha uttered a verse. Kamato jayate soko, kamato jayate biyam. Kamato vipamudasa nati soko kuto biyam. That means from attachment spring grief, from attachment spring fear. For him who is wholly free from attachment, there is no grief, much less fear. The Buddha expounded that verse you can find in the Bhavara commentary. After hearing that verse, delivered by the Buddha, Anitiganda practiced meditation and he became a Sotapanna. So sadness come out of endearment or attachment, grief, fear comes out of attachment. So we need to understand when there is raga, desire, there we come, grief, there we come fear. The more raga, the more dukkha, the more raga, the more grief and fear. Less raga, less dukkha, less grief, less fear. No raga, no dukkha, no grief, no fear. So in this story, formerly the Anitiganda did not want any woman for his wife. He thought he would never have any woman as beautiful as the golden statue. But when he found out that there was a woman even more beautiful than the golden statue, he was enamored. He went to inflame with love. He was attached to that beautiful woman, which he had never seen, which he had only heard about that beautiful woman. So here, with regard to rupa, with regard to objects, which we have seen, which we are seeing now, or which we have the expectation that we will see in the future, then there can arise desire, there can arise lust, or there can arise fondness in us, there can arise kilesa. So Buddha asks the same question with regard to sounds, the sound cognizable by the ear, cognizable by the eye, cognizable by the ear means real visible object, real sounds that are taken through these respective sense door and not sights. Imagine in your mind, not sounds, imagine in your mind. Sometimes the objects and sound in the mind is in the dream, or sometimes they appear due to concentration. Now here is uh, real sounds, real visible objects. And those sense cognizable by the nose, those civil cognizable by the tongue, those tangibles cognizable by the body, and those dhammas cognizable by the mind, dhamma which you have not cognized, which you have not cognized before, which you do not cognize now, or which you have no expectation that you will cognize. Do you have desire? Do you have lust, or do you have fondness for them? And Malunkyaputta answered, no he Bande, Bande surely not. So with these questions and answers, Buddha wanted us to know that we don't have to do anything with regard to objects which we have not seen, which we are not seeing now, and which we have no expectation of seeing. So we no need to do anything. It's not meditation yet. Only just we need to stay in the right location. We need to stay in the right position. Here we need samvara. Samvara, what means samvara? Samvara means restraint. Restraint, there are 5 kinds of samvara mentioned in the text. So 5 samvara are sila samvara, sati samvara, jnana samvara, kanti samvara, and viriya samvara. 5 samvara. So we will explain. So need to remember the heading, 5 samvara. Can you follow me? Sila samvara, Sila samvara, Sati samvara, Sati samvara, Jnana samvara, Jnana samvara, Kanti samvara, Kanti samvara, Viriya samvara. So samvara means restraint. The first one is sila samvara, restraints by means of sila. Sila for lay people, 5 precepts is they are sila samvara. Lay people have to have 5 precepts. For the nuns and samarita, they have more sila. For the monks, they have more higher sila. Restraint by means of moral conducts is sila samvara. And what is sati samvara? Sati samvara is restraints, restraints of the eyes. There is true restraint of the senses. In an ultimate sense, it is sati, mindfulness, that restrain the 6 senses. In order to prevent the arising of mental defilements, they need sati, sati samvara. If we forget to be mindful, it will lead to self-indulgence, that is mota sijja asavara. So that manifests as abhijja and domanassa, desire and discontent. Another samvara is jnana samvara. Jnana means wisdom, restraint by means of wisdom. Jnana samvara occur when you attain Ariya Mega path knowledge, and also Vipassana jnana should be also included in restraint by means of wisdom. So that is jnana samvara. Non-restraint is the opposite of jnana, that is moha, ignorance. If you are ignorant, you have no jnana, no wisdom. So another samvara is kanti. Kanti means forbearance, restraint by means of forbearance. So now yogi exercise patience, forbearance when you deal with cold, heat, severe pain, insults, harsh words, or undesirable sounds, etc. When you encounter, you exercise patience. So that is, Kanti Samvara is no hatred or dosa. Another one is Virya Samvara, restraint by means of effort. So yogi put effort to abandon sensual desire, evil, etc. You put effort. That is Virya Samvara. It is the effort that is the right kinds of striving, samabadana or samavayama. The opposites of restraint by means of virya, effort, is self-indulgence through laziness. That is Kosija Asavara. So regarding Savara, there is the Dhammavara story. At one time, Buddha was residing at the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi. There were 5 bhikkhus in Savatthi. Each of them practiced restraint, samvara, just one out of the 5 senses. There are 5 senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. So each monk claims that what he was practicing was the most difficult. The first one claimed what he practicing, the sense door, was the most difficult. Another one, what the practicing with ear was the most difficult. Another one, what he was practicing, the nose sense, was the most difficult. Another one, what he was practicing with tongue door is the most difficult. The last one was he was practicing body sense was the most difficult. So there was some argument over this, so they could not come to an agreement. Finally, 5 monks went to the Buddha to ask for this, and Buddha said them, each of the senses is just as difficult to control as the other. But the bhikkhu, yogi, must control all of the five senses and not just one. Only those who control all the senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, would escape from the rounds of samsara. So Buddha said to these five monks, Chakuna Samvaro Sadhu, Sadhu Sotina Samvaro. Kanina Samvaro Sadhu, Sadhu Jivaya Samvaro. Kayina Samvaro Sadhu, Sadhu Vachaya Samvaro. Manasa Samvaro Sadhu, Sadhu Sabhata Samvaro. Sabhata Samvudo Bhikkhu, Sabbat Dukkha Pamojati. That means restraint in the eye is good. Good is restraint in the ear. Restraint in the nose is good. Good is restraint in the tongue. Restraint in body is good. Good is restraint in speech. Restraint in mind is good. Good is restraint in all the senses. A bhikkhu, a yogi, restrained in all the senses, is free from all suffering in samsara. So yogi need to remember you are practicing, you are training, you are exercising samvara, eye control, ear control, nose control, tongue control, body control, speech control, mind control, and all the senses you are controlling, you are restraining. It is yogi practice. Can you follow me? Restraint in the eye is good. Restraint in the eyes is good. Good is restraint in the ear. Good is restraint in the ear. Restraint in the nose is good. Good is restraint in the tongue. Restraint in the body is good. Good is restraint in speech. Restraint in mind is good. Good is restraint in all the senses. A yogi, restrained in all the senses, is free from all suffering in samsara. So yogi have to restrain everything. Eye restrain, ear restrain, nose restrain, tongue restrain, body restrain, speech restrain, mind restrain. All the senses are restrained, and then you will be free from suffering in samsara. So here, samvara is come from Indriya samvara. Indriya samvara means restraining the senses. That means restrain carefully all the senses in order to prevent the arising of mental defilements. When 6 types of sense objects, visible objects, sound, smell, etc., enter the 6 senses, eye door, ear door, nose door, etc., there arise 6 consciousness, seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, etc. Here remember where yogi stay, where we are, all the yogis are in Vipassana zone. The zone or the area is Vipassana, that is intensive zone, intensive meditation zone. So when you see a form, when you see the rupa with your eyes, you restrain. A yogi do not grasp at its nimitta, at its signs and features. So you can see all the yogis, their eye restraints. And when yogis see, yogis should not recognize a person by his male form or female form and facial expression. Yogi don't care. Yogi do not grasp nimitta. Yogi do not see signs of form or features. Yogi should not allow his mind to wander beyond the mere facts of rupa, beyond the mere facts of visible objects and nama, seeing consciousness. Yogi do not pay attention to how beautiful a person is, how ugly the person is. Yogi don't care. Yogi do not pay attention. What yogi want to capture is rupa, to capture the rupa and nama. Yogi try to be aware. Yogi try to note, seeing, seeing, seeing. If not, kilesa will arise. Where kilesa arise, kilesa come from paying close attention to the face and limbs of the opposite sex. A yogi do not take an active interest in the body parts of a person of the opposite sex, the face, eyebrow, nose, lips, breast, chest, arms, legs, and so on. And the gesture, yogi don't care. As soon as yogi see, yogi knows seeing, seeing, seeing. Yogi don't pay attention the way he smile, the way he laugh, the way he talk, and so on. So what yogi pay attention to the reality. Reality, the yogi only apprehend bone, flesh, nail, teeth, urine, what is really there. They are reality. The reality is bone, flesh, nail, teeth, urine, etc. So that is in Pali, the nanimittagahi, nanubhinjanagahi. Yogi do not take the form or shape of the person. What yogi want to capture is the nama and rupa, the visible objects, and seeing consciousness. It can be applied only in the meditation zone. If we are not here, we will capture very conceptual appearance. That is, we will take the face, eyebrow, nose, lips, breast, chest, arms, legs, and so on, and their gesture and the way he smiles, laugh, talk, and so on. We don't pay attention bone, flesh, nail, teeth, urine, which are really there. So if we have restraints, we have nothing to do with the visible objects because we do not pay attention to the visible object. Yogi is escaping, yogi is hiding from visible objects because you are in the meditation zone and you stay in the right location, you stay in the right position, you are in samvara, you don't pay attention to any unnecessary object. And with regard to the visible objects that are seen, there can be lust, there can be attachment and fondness. So we have to do something with regard to these visible objects. Buddha also wanted us to know that only with the visible objects that we have experienced or that we have expectation of experiencing, there can arise attachment, desire, and so on. So it is not only attachment, anger can also arise with regard to undesirable objects, and delusion can also arise. Mental defilements can arise with regard to visible objects that we have experienced, and so on. So we have to do what we have to do. What we have to do is to pay attention or just be mindful of them and mindful of them when the visible objects are present. When we see something, we have to be mindful of seeing. And when we hear something, we have to be mindful of hearing, and so on. So if we apply mindfulness at the present moment, when we see, when we hear, and so on, there can be no lust or attachment or fondness or anger or delusion with regard to these visible objects. So by these questions and answers, Buddha gave us a guidelines for the practice of Vipassana meditation. We have to take care of the present things, present objects, be mindful of them, and don't get attached or don't get angry or don't have delusion with regard to visible objects, etc. So Buddha, in order to lay down some guidelines, and he asked some question to Malunkyaputta. Again, for the eyes, Buddha asks, what do you think, Malunkyaputta? Those objects cognizable by the eye, objects which you have not seen, which you have not seen before, which you do not see now, or which you have no expectation that you will see. Do you have desire, lust, or fondness for them? And Malunkyaputta answer, no hi dambante. So we have to read Buddha questions and answer. So can you follow me? What do you think, Malunkyaputta? Do you have any desire, lust or affection for those forms cognizable by the eye that you have not seen and never saw before, that you do not see now and do not think might be seen in the future? So answer is no hitambandi. That is surely not. And then for the ears, for the ear. So do you have any desire, lust or affection for those sounds by the ear that you have not heard and never heard before, and that you have not hear now and do not think might be heard in the future? So for the ear door, can you follow me? What do you think, Malunkyaputta? Do you have any desire, lust or affection for those sounds cognizable by the ear that you have not heard and never heard before, and that you do not hear now and do not think might be heard in the future? No hitambandi. And then what called smell? Smell is, do you have any desire, lust or affection for those scents cognizable by the nose that you have not smelled and never smelled before, that you do not smell now and do not think might be smelled in the future? No hitambandi. So that is Ganda Vinyana Ganda. Can you follow me? What do you think, Malunkyaputta? Do you have any desire, lust or affection for those scents cognizable by the nose that you have not smelled and never smelled before, and you do not smell now and do not think might be smelled in the future? No hitambandi. So that is all restraint. I restrain you. You cut out every message, and you just see necessary object. Every object you cut off. That is, you cut off visible objects, and you try to cut all the music and all the desirable sounds. You just hear necessary Dhamma talk, only this. It is samvara. For the smell, you don't use any perfumes and any good smell. Just you, whenever you smell, you just know smelling. That is nose restraint. And then for this seva, you don't you don't prepare for any delicious food. Whatever food come to you and you accept and you take it, that is a tongue restraint. And then any pleasant, tactile and tangible you don't look for. just whatever necessary, close and tangible, you try to use it. That is what called kaya samvara, body restraint. And you try to cut off any thinking, etc. So that is Dhamma, cognizable by the mind. Dhamma which you have not cognized, which you have not cognized before, and which you do not cognize now, or which you have no expectation that you will cognize. There will not arise desire, lust, or fondness, because you not encounter these objects. So that is only just for preparation for your meditation. You restrain in eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It's not meditation yet, but when you encounter these objects, you are ready to note, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and so on. So Buddha will give meditation guidelines to Malunkyaputta. Tomorrow we will continue. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Vipassana meditation, by observing every six senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing, by noting rising, falling, sitting, rising, falling, standing, walking, etc. continuously and meticulously. May all yogis Ekayano ayam bhikkhave Mego sadanam Visodhiyam Soga paridevanam Samadegamayam Dukkha domanasanam Attingamayam Nyayasa Adigamayam Nibbanasa Sajikiriyayam Yadidam Chattaro Sativatanam Gadame Chattaram Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Kaye Kayanubasi Viharati Adabi Sambajanam Satima Vinayam Loke Abhija Domanasam Vedanasu Vedananubasi Viharati Adabi Sambajanam Satima Vinayam Loke Abhija Domanasam Chete Chetanubasi Viharati Adabi Sambajanam Satima Vinayam Avijja domanasam Dhammesu Dhammanubasi Viharati Adapi Sambhajanam Satima Vinayam Loke Abhijja domanasam. Honoring and sharing merits. Imayam Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiyam Bodham Bujemi Imayam Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiyam Dhammam Bujemi Himaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiyam Sangham Bujemi Himaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiyam Mata Vidaram Ujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiyam Acariye Ujemi Adaimaya Padivadaya Jaramaranama Parimojayasami Idame Ponyam Asavakaya Vaham Kodu Dame Silam Megabhalanyanasa Vajayadu Imano Punyavagam Savasadanam Demam Sabe Saddam Sugita Omdu Sadhu